Hey everybody, Questwise here, and today we're going to be talking about some more of the Conan 2D20 role-playing game from MODIPHIUS Entertainment. I've been trying to do reviews of the supplements as they come out, and it was brought to my attention about a week or so ago that I had missed reviewing Conan the Barbarian when I received it, and so what I thought today is what I would do is I would do a dual review of Conan the Barbarian supplement, as well as one of the newer Conan the Brigand supplements as well too. And then I just also purchased several of the PDFs of the upcoming supplements that will be coming out in hardcover. One notably that I've been waiting for a very, very long time, Conan the King. So I'll be doing reviews of those PDFs probably very, very soon. Because I am so excited about them. I do not want to wait for the hardcovers, although I will purchase the hardcovers when they do come out. But let's start with Conan the Barbarian. Now, if you haven't seen my videos before on the Conan 2D20 role-playing game from MODIPHIUS, it is probably one of my favorite iterations of Conan role-playing throughout the years. Originally there were some adventures put out by TSR. Then Mongoose had picked it up in the D20 3.0 days or so, and those were all pretty good. But I'm a Conan fan as a whole, but I'm more of a Robert E. Howard fan, and a fan of his writing style. And what Conan, the 2D20 system from MODIPHIUS has done is that has grabbed that core of Howard's writings and really built an empire, built a role-playing a game around his writings. There are several Conan scholars that have been hired to review these and write for these supplements and for this game itself to give it a true sort of Robert Howard feel, and how maybe Robert Howard would have created the role-playing game had he the chance or lived in the time period of role-playing games to create his vision of what this would have been. So there's a lot of detail really focusing on Robert Howard's visions of that. Now, there are a few supplements which I will probably collect them. I don't know if I will do reviews of them, but there are some supplements out for the Conan the board game version from Monolith. There's also a new one out for Conan Exiles, which is the computer game, MMO game as well too. I'm not very familiar with them. I haven't got a chance to get my hands on a copy of the board game, which I hope to do soon because it looks utterly fantastic. And I'm not much of a video game player, so I don't have any experience with Conan Exiles, though I will probably collect those books just to have them. Those break away sort of from the canon of Howard's vision for these books. But so that's kind of a quick recap of the 2D20 system, and I really enjoy the system. I really like the way that the dice mechanics work well with the world and how it fits, and how MODIPHIUS is really taken the 2D20 system and is able, it's flexible enough to make it fit with some adjustments to other games like their Star Trek game and Dishonored, which is a new one which I'll be reviewing probably in the next week or so. I'm reading over the PDF of that right now too, and it's based on the video game series through, I think it's just Xbox. I could be completely wrong. I have an Xbox 360, and that's about as new as I have as far as that goes. But the Dishonored game for Xbox 360 is phenomenal. The graphics are beautiful. The storyline is just utterly amazing. And so as I'm reading through the PDF, I'm really excited to see some more background fluff and lore and how they've adapted the video game to a tabletop role-playing game. But let's start off today talking about Conan the Barbarian. And this covers the life and the stories that Robert Howard had written about Conan in his time in the barbarian lands of the North. So you're going to get a lot of that kind of stuff. It's going to focus on barbarian clans and barbarian settings and lands and archetypes and such. So you're going to get 4 new archetypes in Conan the Barbarian. You have the Bard, the Hunter, the Raider, and the Slaver. You're going to get new barbaric weaponry. That's additional stuff that's more specific to the barbaric lands, in addition to what's in the core rulebook as well. There are 3 new lands that are expounded upon and fully fleshed out in this book as well too. Cimmeria, Nordheim, and Hyperborea, which are really, really cool if you want to play in the sort of northern barbaric lands of the world. There are notes on raiding and ship battles. So think sort of Nordic lands, Viking type civilizations, and that's what you get with this Conan the Barbarian book. So you're going to get notes on ship battles, long ships, and how those things might happen in fjords and in the northern, ice-ridden seas, as well as raiding rules and techniques and stuff that would be done in those types of areas of lands. You're also going to get new minions and adversaries and nemesis. Tons of them in there, all very specific to those northern lands. And what I really love about each one of these supplements is that you get a character sheet fully set it out for Conan in that time period of his life. And I think that's really, really cool. In fact, some of the things I've been doing during this whole pandemic time period that we've had a lot of extra time with is to take the stats that are in each one of these for Conan the Barbarian and such, and do little solo games with them using the Mythic GM emulator and playing out Conan in that particular time in his life in the stories that Robert Howard had written about him. So I think that's really cool. I love that aspect about each one of these. Now, Conan the Brigand is one of the newer books that just came out. I believe it was this year, end of last year. Each one of these is amazing art from artists that are well known for fantasy art styles and or sort of dark fantasy, specifically Conan and stuff as well too. But in each one of these books are really beautiful is that you get this cover image, but on the inside you get the full painting, the full illustration of that piece of artwork. Conan the Brigand is about, as the title, as brigands, as groups of people who are taking advantage of other groups of people. You're going to get new archetypes in this as well too. You get 4 new archetypes in this. You get the entertainer, the Cossack, the merchant, and the torturer. The Cossacks, think of Cossacks from the sort of Russian / Eastern Europe type of historical setting as well too. That's what the Cossacks are in the story, and I think that was just a little twist that Howard had come up with when he was writing the stories to sort of emulate the Cossacks. There are new Brigand weapons in here. The new lands are Quran, which is most famous for the city of Shadizar in many of the stories, Zambula, Turan, and the Vilayet Sea region. So there's actually 3 sort of empires, and then the whole region of the Vilayet Sea. Turan is interesting. It's always been one of my sort of favorite kingdoms. It's sort of like Genghis Khan after he had settled down, after he had sort of taken on a more sedient lifestyle, right? And he's now ruler of a kingdom. And so they come from a clan of horse barbarians, and very decisive and very quick in their military actions and such. But this is sort of after the great Khan had settled down into a major city, which we see in history a little bit when he conquers China, when Genghis Khan conquers China and such as well too. But that's kind of what Turan is, and it's super well detailed in here. You get all the gods and stuff, as well as in Conan the Barbarian, the different gods of the regions and stuff as well too. Very, very, very cool stuff. You get new minions and adversaries and nemesis in here as well too, all sort of based upon and around the idea of Conan the Brigand. You get notes on brigand raids and a bunch of new loot tables as well too. So looting settlements, looting cities, and other types of civilizations and stuff as well too. Because that's what brigands do, right? They don't care so much about, they're not mercenaries. They don't fight for anyone but themselves. But they band together in order to gain loot from people. And then you also get stats for Conan the Brigand in here as well too. So very, very cool. I love these books. They're so great. I'm a huge fan of MODIPHIUS. I'm a huge fan of the 2D20 system. I think it works very well. It's not a super hard system to grasp, especially if you've played D20 games in the past. It has a lot of similarities to that, but is on the other side of that coin vastly different from D20 games, in that you're using a lot of different mechanics in order to modify the way that the rules work. Things like momentum and spending momentum to get things that you want, and change things to re-roll dice, to add dice, that kind of stuff as well too. But a very, very cool system. If you haven't checked it out, MODIPHIUS is using the 2D20 system for a majority of their line of games. So things like Star Trek and John Carter of Mars, of course, Conan, the 2D20 system, and a number of other games, including the new Dishonored one, which I'll be talking about very shortly. So until next time, game on, my friends. Stay safe. I'm Questwise, and I am out.